Hey y'all, and welcome to the Southland Piper. I'm your host Tim. Hope you're doing well today. I have this no-name, I guess it's a Bullmoose, Bullcap, squat Rhodesian, whatever you want to call it, but it has some issues where I'm going to have to make a major change on this pipe. So let's turn around to the workbench and take a look. The pipe overall is not terrible condition. The stem is actually a little on the loose side. Sorry, I forgot you out of frame. Stem's actually a little on the loose side, but we can fix that. This is a pipe that will not be converted. I'll just be selling this one. But here's the major part of what's wrong with this pipe. All these little chips, and I dropped it earlier, and I think I've got a fresh one. Yeah, right there. So that's a problem that this pipe has apparently had for a while. So I think I'm going to have to get rid of all this on here and then try to think of how I want to reshape it. I've just got on my mind just to come in here and just roll it back down to this area, sort of like what it did. But we'll see. Now to get rid of the rest of that part of the stumble, let me see here. Yeah, I can do that. Didn't work tremendously great. Still got a little bit overhang, but yeah, I can do that. Awfully thin right there. All right, well, let's get the rest of this off, and then we'll have to put our thinking caps on about what we want to do to reshape the top of this pipe. All right, let me get finished and we'll come back and take a look. All right, I've got all that chipped off, which makes it look just absolutely stellar. The next thing I want to do is I want to, just with some painter's tape, just so I can kind of know that I'm close to it, I want to just put some tape along this piece where the parting line, where one of them was, and hopefully I can stay off of that tape, and so I don't damage this area. All right, it's not perfect, but it gives me a visual, to stay off of me, that type thing. So we'll see how well it stays on there. I may have to reapply it. But see, I think this gives me a little visual cue. And all right, let's start taking that top down a little bit. Well, decided to get a little lazy. This is actually a knife sharpener, but it's got a nice little area. But I'm going to have to be careful. It'll remove the material a lot faster. So yeah, I'm being lazy. There are some spots it doesn't fit very well. Well, that worked out fairly well. Did touch here. It's the only place I think I touched. Of course, I've got this big mound. I did touch that, didn't I? Oh well. Got this big mound I've got to still work on right here. Well, we're getting down to the tough part. You can see I've got, this little bit that I need to remove. But if I try to use the file, it's going to carry down on top of this too much, I think. So I don't care too much for this idea either. But I'm going to have to come in real carefully and see if I can get that cut down using the manicures tool. So I'll start it up, but I won't be able to continue because I'm looking around the camera. But just kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking to do. And this could mess up quick. All right, I'm having some success, but even when I go back to sand this, I'm going to end up hitting, excuse me, I don't know how I'm going to stay off of that. Do I cut it all the way down to where I just have the one parting line right here and angle all this up, and then how fine do I get to that edge? Oh boy. I'm going to continue on with the drum, on around, and then start doing some hand sanding. I want to leave as much of this as I can. But like I said, where do you stop? That's the problem. Well, at this point, it's just going to be a lot of sanding. I still got a little bit more of a rounded profile back here. This is a little bit flatter. But I'll just keep sanding. Now, these little manicure fingernail files, they're pretty handy for this. They work really well. This is just going to take a whole lot of sanding. Well, here's an update on the progress. It's coming along. Having a hard time getting really down nice and even to that parting line, but it's not too bad. Just more sanding. I'm probably going to have to scrub these areas with Murphy's to see if I can't strip out that dye. This is going to take a little while. I guess the bad part is that the pipe is not worth all this time. But this helps me to stay focused and stay busy. So it's more about that than actually what I will get out of the pipe. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I'm going to take a little Murphy's and in these rustication spots and see if I can get some of this dye to release, stained dye, whatever you want to call it, but see if I can get it to release. But anyway, I'm just going to continue sanding on these areas and see if I can get things to where I want them. It's just going to take a little while. You can see I'm not generating Get in there a little closer. Yeah, I'm not generating a whole lot of dust when I'm sanding, but that's where we find ourselves. Well, I'm going to continue to sand. Okay. Pretty well where I'm going to be with it. I really wanted to do a tan on it, but I scrubbed this down with Murphy's and such and just can't get rid of that reddish hue that it's got. So I've got a British tan that has some red in it, and I will use that. All right, let's see how this British tan will look on here. We'll start on the bottom. Like I said, it's just got a little red in it. Yeah, those rusticated spots are going to end up being a little darker, but they naturally would anyway because the way they're made, they just absorb more of the dye. Get it down in that parting line. Okay. Hit this one with a little alcohol. Try to just kind of smooth things out a little bit. Very interesting on how it took the stain. Huh. Because that's all fresh briar. It says age imported briar. I'm just kind of wondering if it is briar. All right, let's change out my wheels on my buffer and let's buff it. And I'll show you what we end up with. I still have the stem to work on as well. Let's turn our attention to the stem. A tooth mark there, a little dent. All that chatter. That's pretty rough looking stuff. Another little dent there. But other than that, I think that's all we got to deal with. I don't see anything here that would make me think that we've got to do any fill work, so that's good. I'll put some heat on this one, see if I can raise that spot and that spot up a little bit. All right, let's get started. Sometimes it doesn't raise much, but it's just enough to make a difference. All right, I'm going to do some file work and then sanding. let's do a little sanding. Get this thing smoothed out. Then we'll put it on the buffer. So this is going to take a little bit. Alright, well here we are. The pipe's finished. I still think I need to go back and get a couple of spots buffing. But all in all, I'm happy with it. The stem cleaned up nicely. And I think it's a pretty little pipe. The rim, I'm pleased with. With what I started out with, I think it turned out rather well. Well, thank you for spending your time with me today and hope to talk to you soon. Bye.